what are the different rules and requirements once the fund is up and going to meet the requirements to get the benefits from the tax side?
Yeah, so different requirements for me as the Opportunity Zone business operator versus them as the fund operator, or me as the fund operator, depending on where the investment happens. At the QOZB level, which is the owner of the real estate, I've got to do, I need to own or operate real estate that fits into three buckets: either ground up development, I need to substantially renovate a building, or I need to buy a building that's been vacant for 3 or more years. So those are kind of the rules at the property level. And if I do new development or substantial renovation, I have 31 months to do that. But those are the basic rules at the real estate level. At the fund level, my main rule is to put all my money out and not have a bunch of cash sitting around. And I'm tested on that every June 30th and December 31st. And I have to have less than 10% of my fund in cash on those dates.
Okay, that's interesting. So how does that work with like working capital and things like that? What if you need a cushion during when those dates are coming up? Do you have a line of credit you can pull? I mean, what are some of the mechanisms you do to manage that portion of it? Just because, being 90% invested is good because you're trying to deploy the capital and put it to work. But at the same time, like all the things we talked about earlier around working capital management, the way that you manage the business, does that ever rub against the requirements for the QOZ?
Yeah, so that test is at the Opportunity Zone fund level, and we think of the fund as truly like a pass-through entity. So the cash goes to the fund for a very short period of time and never on June 30th or December 31st. And then it just goes straight to the Opportunity Zone business. And the business is the real estate development entity.
Gotcha.
And for the first 31 months, which is that development period, you have a safe harbor where the amount of cash that's held at the QOZB level really isn't important. So it's tested. The QOZB is allowed to have up to 30% of its assets in cash. But for the first 31 months, that test doesn't matter. And so during the development period, you can have a bunch of working capital and that's okay.
Yep.
And so that's it. But then once you're done building the deal and you're stabilized, you just need to make sure that you don't leave a bunch of cash sitting around.